I'm driving 100 miles to Washington's most deadly volcano, Mount St. Helens, which erupted in 1980, killing 57 people.
It was a beautiful, snow-capped, perfectly symmetrical volcano.
I get a lift there with the Mount St. Helens monument scientist, Dr. Peter Frenzen.
Well, there it is, the premier view of Mount St. Helens from Johnston Ridge.
Incredible.
So we're about 5 miles from the volcano here. The volcano had been shaking with earthquakes, and it had begun to swell outward in this tremendous bulge. And what scientists didn't predict was that massive failure of the entire mountaintop, and that tremendous sideways explosion which blasted across the valley. 5 miles away from the volcano here, we would have had less than 30 seconds. And that cloud of fragmented rock would have swept at us about 450 miles an hour, flattening the old-growth forest that we were standing in around us. People up to 10 miles away from the volcano were killed by the eruption. And that was totally unexpected. But some people managed to escape, and they were able to bring incredible pictures and stories back of the 1980 eruption.
We're joined by one of the luckiest survivors, Charlie McNerney, who was camping close to the volcano when it blew.
Yeah, we're actually hiking on the top and the insides of the missing part of Mount St. Helens.
Really? This was never here before?
No, the original valley floor is about 200 feet below us. And this deposit came off the volcano at about 100 miles an hour, sweeping down over here and then to where Charlie was across the valley.
200 feet? I mean, I just can't imagine 200 plus feet of this on top of the campsite where we were, let alone the people that were there with us.
Must be kind of eerie.
It's very eerie. You know, I saw this huge cloud and I saw it coming. Just had no idea that this is what it was.
What did you hear? Because it's quite quiet now. It's quite still.
It was quieter that morning. You know, when we first woke up, it was, like I said, it was the raw silence I think anybody could ever hear. There wasn't a bird sound. There wasn't a chirp. There wasn't a breeze of wind. It wasn't anything. And in a matter of 2 minutes, it changed. This went from really quiet to the high wind, high heat. Suddenly you're seeing animals run, you're seeing birds fly, tree branches are flying at you. And then it was not far from this mountain where I just said, it's time to go, because up over the ridge it came. And that's when I said, that's it, I'm in the car, I hope you're in the car, to my roommate. I hope you're in the car, because it's gone. And so from that moment forward, I just took off down a dirt road, and it wasn't even that wide. I mean, there were trees on both sides.
You must have been shaken.
Shaken, and it was the first time, I don't know if you've ever driven with your sunroof up in a car. It was the first time I actually felt pressure inside of a car. It was just amazingly, it was almost like pressure pushing down that morning. And then suddenly I could look in my rearview mirror, and I could just see this rolling. I could just see it tumble. And it had already gone through where I was.
How fast were you driving?
About 80, down a dirt road with curves nonetheless. So, Sammy, the riverbed there is pretty much kind of level. So you can imagine, so our campsite would be just there. And then of course you have this elevation of all of the deposit. My sense of it is, you know, how small you are when it comes to something of this magnitude. And
right.
There were lots of folks affected that day. A lot of folks that didn't make it home. At the same time, you know, just so you get the perspective of what this is, I brought some photographs down that we were able to take. So on that day, that's the wall that you can see coming at you. You just get this sense of how incredibly big this is.
This is what you saw coming to you?
Yes.
And you're just running for your life?
I see it, yeah. You're just running for your life.
Jeez.
Going 100, 150 miles an hour.
And that's what creates all of this.
You're a lucky man.
I feel that way. I think about it all the time.
The thought that the mountain could erupt again at any time gives me a sleepless night before my big climb. Whew. It's quite early this morning. I could do with some more sleep, but you know, this is the best time to make my way to the top. It's about a 4 or 5 hour climb. And the weather this morning is bad despite my best wishes. It's cold and it's wet and there's probably going to be some snow at the top. Oh well, time to go. Well, this is the easy bit, coming through the forest. It's nice and flat, chance to get used to the terrain, but that's all going to change. I've got 5,000 feet to go that way. Right, this is the edge of the tree line. Beyond this point, it's pretty much just rocks and gravel. The sun's come out, the weather fluctuates a lot, so I'm not sure how long it's going to last. From here, you have to have a climbing permit. I got mine, so here we go. This is absolutely amazing. I got my first view of the summit. It's about 2,500 feet up, and there's snow. Any hopes I had of the weather remaining good are dashed. Out of nowhere, clouds roll in and I'm suddenly in the middle of a blizzard.
This is starting to feel a bit like Mission Impossible now. I've reached the edge of the snow line and as you can see, it's snowing. A bit of hail. It's really, really cold. My fingers are numb. And I've still got 1,500 feet to the top. The only way to keep warm is to keep on going.
This is not something to be done without proper equipment, letting people know where you're going and when you expect to get back, and preferably an experienced guide.
Well, I made it! This is the edge of the volcano crater. I can't go any further. It's really, really, really cold up here. The wind is absolutely howling. There's ice everywhere, I can hardly talk. I'm sure I'm not making any sense right now. It was my goal to make it to the top. Woohoo! And I made it. It's time to go home.